the conversation tonight on the political deadlock and the government's challenges in the face of the coronavirus outbreak is Jonathan Tobin. He's the editor-in-chief at JNS, and Thane Rosenbaum, distinguished university professor at Touro University. Good to have you both with us. Jonathan, let's start with you, because Blue and White Party leader Benny Gantz is reportedly planning to try and put together a minority government with the backing of the Arab majority joint list, something that he said he wouldn't do. Do you think he can succeed?
Well, Michelle, I think for the last year we have been saying that this jigsaw puzzle with the pieces doesn't fit in order to make a coalition government. In order for it to happen, somebody was going to have to break their campaign promises, and that somebody is Benny Gantz and Avigdor Lieberman, who both pledged that they would never form a government with a joint list, but now are attempting to do so. Can they do it? Well, in theory they can, because if you add up all the parties that are opposed to Netanyahu and who might back a bill to prevent him from forming a government because he's under indictment, you get 62. But here's an obstacle. Two members of the Blue and White Party, members of Moshe Ya'alon's Telem faction, or right-wingers, Yoav Hendel and Zvi Hauser, have said no. They won't go along with Gantz. They won't be part of a government that is depending on the joint list. And even later today, Orly Levy Abukassis, daughter of Netanyahu's old bitter rival David Levy, Israel foreign minister for the Likud a generation ago, and now a member of the Labor Gesher Meretz alliance, says she won't go along with it. At that point, you only have 59. That's not a majority, so it may not happen.
Yeah, Thane, to Jonathan's point, Orly Levy Abukassis from Labor Gesher Meretz saying she doesn't want any part in this. Do you think this move could actually backfire against Benny Gantz and have defect to Likud?
That's possible, Michelle. But remember, there's also the possibility of him proposing a minority government. It's less optimal, but he could essentially get the mandate to form a minority government. This is, of course, Likud is opposed to this. And so there is the possibility also of a unity government. But Blue and White will only agree to that if Netanyahu steps aside for the first 2 years, so that he gets through his legal difficulties, and then he becomes prime minister in 2 years. So those are two less than optimal possibilities: a minority government that might include include some of the Arab list, but some defectors that otherwise would have been center left, or a unity government that Netanyahu would never agree to because he wants to remain as prime minister, especially because of this corruption trial.
Okay, but Jonathan, Gantz has essentially broken a big campaign promise, and there are a lot of people that object to it. So do you think, again, that this could backfire on him and have these people then defect and join Likud? Is that a move that something like Orly Levy Abukassis could potentially do, and then he just needs two more?
Yeah, well, there are two immovable forces, that are colliding here. On the one hand, I don't think Benny Gantz has the votes even to form a minority government, because he would be dependent on the Arab list. And you're right, it will backfire. He will lose votes from his own party, maybe even more than those two potential defectors, and Orly Levy Abukassis. It's not going to work. On the other hand, the thing that unites everybody in that 62-member, not bloc, but a coalition, not even a coalition, a group of parties. The thing that unites them is they don't want Benjamin Netanyahu to continue serving as prime minister. Indeed, without Netanyahu, it's possible that there would be a much broader right-wing government with some of these people who are now part of Blue and White, or even Labor, the Labor Alliance. So, yeah, I think it is a gamble on Gantz's part. And it's also, it's kind of a do or die thing, because and Netanyahu's only option for remaining prime minister means a continued stalemate and a fourth election in September. By going this route of trying to do a deal with the Arab list, Benny Gantz is counting on there being no fourth election. That's true for Lieberman, too. I think both of them understand.
Right. Jonathan, help us understand. We're running out of time here, Jonathan. Help us understand very quickly why there is such an objection to any kind of minority government with a joint Arab list? Because some of the parties in that joint Arab list essentially deny Israel's right to exist. Is that what is causing so much resistance to this?
Well, you're absolutely right. That's what it boils down to. They're not merely anti-Zionist. They are a coalition of 4 parties, one of which is the Communist Party, one of which is a secular nationalist party that doesn't believe in the state of Israel, wants basically it to be the Palestinian Authority, a third secular Arab party that doesn't even want an independent Palestine. It wants a pan-Arab state, and a fourth Arab party that wants to basically recreate Hamas's Islamist government in Gaza.
Yeah, you can see why so many members, even from the left, are objecting to that idea. Thank you so much, Jonathan Tobin and Thane Rosenbaum. Still ahead.